You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Bello. And I feel like it's been way too long, man. I feel like it's been a minute since I've been on here. Glad to be back, man. Glad to see everybody in the chat, man. Hit that like button. You already know what to do. Jump in the chat. Do your thing. Number one rule, have a dang good time. That's what we want you to do on this channel. Mello, how you doing today?
Man, I'm great. Busy day, man. Busy day. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Running around a lot. Me and Sean did a little something earlier today, but it was mostly Sean. You know, I just was there just to be there. But, yeah, good day.
Nice.
Had to draw ice bath for my daughter. Had phone calls with colleges. That's always good. But, yeah, I'm glad that is winding down, and I get to end it right here.
Yeah. To be honest, it was a long day for me too, dude. It's been a long couple weeks for me, to be honest with you, dude. It's been like a lot of stuff going on, but that's life, man. Sometimes you just got to grind it out. You know what I mean? You just got to suck it up, grind it out. But that's what we do, man. We're excited to be on here, man. Nothing too crazy's been going on, but if you're an Ohio State fan like me and like Mello, we know everything that's going on. So there's been some critical moves, we think. If you're just an average Ohio State fan, you'll probably read some of these changes that has recently happened and be like, oh, that's cool, man. An assistant coach. Yay, good. But we're going to dive into that tonight, man. We're going to dive into Larry Johnson, right? And the normal rumor every year, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Should he retire? Should he stay? How good of a job is he doing? We're going to dive into the defensive coaching additions and the importance of those. And we got some information there that I think you guys are going to like to hear. And then we're going to go through some defensive line recruits that I believe Ohio State is in on. You know, there's a pretty good list of offers, but I've narrowed it down to some ones I believe we're a little closer in on. So I guess we'll just start with it, man. Let's start with the number one question. I'm pretty sure this is obvious now, but I believe it or not, dude, I still hear people talking about this on the message boards. There's still people talking and acting like Larry Johnson might not coach this year. And that's ludicrous. Newsflash, dude. Larry Johnson's going to be the coach this year for the defensive line. Mello, I don't even want to ask, but what's your take, dude?
I'm trying not to laugh, man.
Bro,
I think they have a hidden Larry Johnson agenda. I don't know why you want to push the GOAT out. I mean, he's literally the GOAT. So at the end of the day, LJ is going to be here. People, you already heard what Jack and JT said. They said, yeah, he's 70, but he doesn't act like he's 70. He's out there sometimes doing the drills and showing us how to do it properly. So, I mean, that dude has a lot of juice left. All his kids are grown. He's getting a big check to be here. I mean, why not? I mean, he promised KJ he's gonna rock with him. So, I mean, I feel like if LJ was gonna leave, it would be at the end of the season, and it would have happened already. So, I think people need to just leave it alone. Yes, there's certain things that he can't do as well as he used to when he was younger, but we'll get into that later, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's earned the respect to when he wants to retire. He can retire, right? When he wants to go, it's time to go. But he's got it made. He loves what he's doing. I don't care about the 70-year-old thing, dude. He was just at the NFL Combine running around with Jack and JT, watching them do their thing, man. Like you said, he gets in on the drills. He's still doing that. You know what I mean? So as far as development goes, he's the GOAT in college football right now. He's the GOAT. He's respected by everybody in the NFL, right? He can make a phone call and he would have a job in the NFL right now. Like the dude's the GOAT. You know what I mean? So enjoy him while he's here. be blessed while he is here. Don't worry about when he's going to leave. Just focus on the fact that he's here right now, because it's a huge blessing. But I want to dive into the one thing about Larry Johnson, and I don't want to call it a negative thing, because I don't just because of how good he is as a coach, you know what I mean? But football has changed. More specifically, recruiting has changed. Okay. The way you have to recruit kids, the way you have to do it has changed. And some of these coaches were stuck back in the old days of recruiting that worked. And sometimes it's hard to make that transition. And I believe that's the case with Larry Johnson. It's kind of like Justin Fry, except for Justin Fry ain't been around that long to have that excuse of, hey, man, you know, I used to do it this way and it worked great. I'm kind of stuck in those ways. Larry Johnson, I do not believe is that bad at all. But let's do it. 2023. Who did Larry Johnson sign? What did he sign, man? He signed Jason Moore, Will Smith Jr., Caden McDonald as the interior defensive lineman. Then he also signed Josh Mickens as an edge. By the way, Josh Mickens was the 101st overall player in his class. So I just want to remind people that Josh Mickens, not that ratings matter too much, but Josh Mickens is no slouch. And
right.
I myself have kind of, I don't know how the way to put it, I just kind of forgot about him.
Me too. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to put it. But Jason Moore was the 61st overall player in his class, not even D lineman. That's the overall player. So had some big time recruits there, but only one edge player, right? 2024, Edric, Dominic Kirks, Eric Mensah. Dominic Kirks was a top 150 overall player on the defensive line. Edric Houston was recruited as an edge, but is playing D line. So in 2024, signed 3 defensive linemen, no edge players. 2025, we all know Zion, Epi, 2 defensive ends, and then 3 defensive linemen. So since 2023, he has signed 3 edge players and 9 defensive lines. So, Mel, I want to get your opinion on numbers, man, and what we think. How are those numbers to you? And if they're not good, where do we need to be?
Can you repeat the numbers one more time for me? Because my computer did some weird thing.
From 2000 in the past 3 classes, he's only signed 3 edge players, and he signed 9 interior D linemen.
I think interior D line is probably where you need to be, maybe one more. But in terms of edge, that's not enough. Let's just be quite honest. And right now we see what's happening. We have a shortage at defensive edge, and actually we don't have a lot of experience in the depth of our 2 deep or 3 deep. So I think we're definitely going to see some portal movement for the edge to help replenish it. But I would think he would want to be around 8 defensive ends.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. I think we've seen over the past couple classes us losing some defensive ends at the last minute. So obviously Ohio State has wanted more in their class. They just lose them at the end, man. And Larry Johnson has a specific way that he recruits these guys. Okay. And today's day and age in recruiting, for the most part, this isn't all of them, but what I've noticed and what I've gathered from people and even recruits that I've spoke with is that it's a pretty needy generation. And what I mean by that is it's a generation that, I mean, you have coaches calling prospects every single day and bloating and filling their head with, oh my gosh, we need you so bad. We want you so bad. And they're telling 5 players in the same position that they're their number 1 target. You know what I'm saying? Every single day, just on it. And back in the day, it was you call them once or twice a week. And if you like that coach and you want to play for that school, then you're going to reach out to the coaches. They're going to reach out to you. You're going to build that relationship. Today, from the information I'm gathering, it's more of the coaches have to keep reaching out because of the transfer portal, because of NIL. It's become way more competitive, right? And in today's society, It's a microwave society. We want what we want right now. There's nobody patient. These recruits, they want to hear from you every day. They want to know their nil money right now. That's the first thing they want to talk about. Ohio State doesn't do that, period. Larry Johnson definitely doesn't do that. And Larry Johnson just not going to cater to that type of person, and other coaches will. And it's not necessarily the recruits. I'm not saying it's a one-way street. Some of these coaches, that's how they recruit. They call them every single day and just bug the fire out.
Now that you said that, I wanted to bring something up. I saw on Berm's show. He had talking stuff, the last talking stuff he did. And he was talking about how Ohio State is going to have to change their approach in terms of what you specifically just said about the NIL and the discussion. He's saying exactly what you said. Let's have the Ohio State's at a point where they want to have that discussion after you commit. Like when you come on campus and you're about to commit and we're going to have you sign, we want to discuss the NIL transactions. But he's saying the reason we lost a lot of those kids to Oregon is because Oregon was really willing to have those conversations up front. So now is changing the game and is forcing Ohio State that they're going to have to adapt their philosophy and start having those conversations up front in order if they want to keep top recruits, especially the ones in Ohio. So I'm interested to see if they're actually going to change their philosophy on that or not. I think they have to because where the game is. I think it won't be as imperative after this cycle because they're going to have the court ruling on revenue sharing and everything such as that, where it'll be a salary cap basically from the school directly. Now, NIL, we all know you could go and still get NIL money from companies outside. But in terms of what Ohio State has to present to get you to come there, I feel like this is the last little bit. And I think they should just do it early so that way we lock down the talent in the state right now.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation to have right there. That can be an entire show, and that's definitely a conversation I want Pop's Pod to talk about and to bring up because they have that perspective of it. But from where I'm at, I like that strategy from Ohio State because I think they try to wean out the people that are in it for the money.
Which strategy do you like?
So I like Ohio State's strategy. Right now, they're waiting to talk about. Yeah, but I'm getting it. Just let me explain, and you'll see where I'm going with this because I think it has to change. I think, unfortunately, it has to change too. But I like their strategy in the sense of I think it weans those players out that are in it for the love of the game and that are in it for the love of the coaches, the history that Ohio State has of development, the NFL development that Ohio State has. When you're talking about money last, you're really weaning those players out. I mean, everybody that signs with Ohio State, their number one priority is not money. And they trust the coaches and they use their own wisdom and research to understand that if they just do it on the field, that money is going to come. They'll make more money than any other player in college football. They'll make more money than Oregon has to pay them. If you come play at Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith's making more money than any Oregon player, right? And Ohio State didn't promise him that money. He just did it on the field. But today, there's so many teams that are willing to pay unproven kids, regardless, that they don't have to go earn it. Some of these recruits, they don't have to earn anything. I mean, now, listen, don't take those words I said too far. They're earning it by showing it on the high school field. What I mean by earning it is we haven't seen you even play a snap of college football. And we all know that just because you're really good in high school, that does not guarantee that you're going to be good in college. There might be, in my opinion, like 25 to 50 recruits in every high school class that are a lock to be able to handle college football, like at a high level, like a lock. You know what I'm saying? And I might even be super generous in that number, 25 to 50. It might be 10 or 20 that are going to be starting at Ohio State and like ready to rumble. You know what I'm saying? Day one. Unfortunately, I think that because of the way college football is changing, if Ohio State wants to stay in and get in some of these, I think you'll have to pick some recruits where you will have to start talking about that money. But I just hope there's a solution before. I don't want that to happen. I just don't. I think you'll just lose some of the shine, man. I think you'll lose some of the passion, the spiritual and character growing part of the game of college football. And it's just going to look more like NFL. Like, I mean, dude, go listen to some of these interviews, man. I mean, these recruits are just coming out and saying it now. What's your number one thing that you want in a college? Money. They're just coming out and saying it, dude. This is the first year I've ever heard that. I mean, at least last year, some kids were faking it, saying relationship, saying development. That's dead. Not anymore. They're just coming out saying, man, money, making money. That's my number one. My number two, playing time. Number three, development. Number four, relationships. Like, that's where this game is turning into. So the old me wants to keep Ohio State, but I don't know if that's going to be realistic or not. So that's a beautiful topic, and a one that can be dove into with people that have more experience than me and you do. But I definitely see why you're saying I think they have to switch. I mean, we'll see. You know what I mean? I don't like the way things are going.
I got so many questions for you, but yeah, like you said, we're gonna leave it for somebody. I really do got a lot of questions. Like,
hey, we'll do it. We'll come back. You know what, dude? Let's just dive into it, bro. What's your questions, man? Let's dive into this thing.
Basically,
we're already heated about it.
They switch their strategy. Will they still be able to wean the players out in terms of cultural fit? That's what I'm worried about if they have to switch it. Now, if they could switch their strategy and still get the people that fit culturally, then I'll have a problem with it. But if they can't, then we're going to see the portal on our end blowing up with exits.
Yeah. So I think they will be, because I don't think Ohio State's ever going to be the number one paying NIL program out there. As in, I think Oregon's always going to overpay for recruits. I think Ole Miss, Miami, they're always going to overpay. They will always literally tell recruits, hey, whatever Ohio State offers you, I'll offer you $100,000 more. Listen, folks, that is not a I'm guessing statement. That's not a this might be happening. That's a fact. That's happening. The schools are doing that. If they know that Ohio State or a different team is offered, schools like Oregon and Miami, they're just saying, hey, man, tell me what they're giving you. We'll give you more. That's literally what they're saying. But I think Ohio State can at least start those conversations and be realistic with kids and show them the proof. Like, hey, look, we gave J.J. Smith $750,000 of NIL money, $500,000 lower than any other place. But we developed him. He showed it on the field. In our offense, this receiver got shown and everybody saw it. And now the dude's making $10 million a year. Right. You know what I mean? So they still have that proof. And I think you can still wean them out because your offer doesn't have to be, you don't have to overpay. You don't have to match Oregon and stuff, but you can start that conversation. And that'll give you more time to explain to these recruits, like, look, we're not just telling you something. This will be on you. How much money you get paid will be on you. If you want to make more than the NIL money that we're paying you, you 100% can. It's just going to be on you, and use that as motivation, right? Use that I want more money as motivation, like the real world does. If you want more money in the real world, what do you have to do? Work harder.
Yep.
You got to work harder, man. So not only will it teach you to work harder, you'll learn a valuable life lesson that you're not just going to just get things for free your whole life. You know what I mean?
Well, you already addressed this a while ago, multiple times on the show, about how we live and our society is set up to be everybody wants that microwavability where everything is instant. We get it right now. And my thing, I know a lot of these kids are coming from backgrounds, most of them, not all of them, obviously, but most of them are coming from backgrounds where they're not coming from a lot, you know what I mean? Financially, economically. But at the end of the day, this is why I always say, you're trying to be greedy. You're going to Oregon to take all this money that's unproven that they can develop you long-term to sustain, to make it to your second contract in the NFL, right? And that's the big payday. Or you could come here and take a little bit less, which is still life-altering, and know that you're going to get developed and make it to your second contract and your third and your fourth contract as long as you stay healthy and make that long-term generational changing lifestyle money. So like, I think a lot of kids are just short-sighted. They're not seeing the bigger picture. They don't have people around them that can see the bigger picture because they're also in the same economical strife that they're in. So that's why the Pop Pod is phenomenal, and everybody should be watching it, especially if you're a recruit. And that's all I really wanted to talk about with the NIL. They can handle the rest.
Well, I like that aspect that you brought up because that's a hard situation. If a kid and a family is really struggling financially, why don't you take the bigger bag, right? Well, my answer to that would be kind of what you said is, you know, Ohio State has the proven development. Now, can you get developed at other schools? 100%. But let's say you just don't work out to be an NFL player. If you graduate an Ohio State Buckeye with a degree from Ohio State and played on the football team, you're set for life. You're set. Yep. Somebody will give you a job. If you put on your resume, I was a third string defensive end at Ohio State Buckeyes, dude. The Ohio State fan base and alumni is huge. There's a company owner out there. There's somebody, you got an accounting degree, you got a business degree. They're taking a shot on you. You're set. It's proven. You're set up for life, man. Either way, whichever way it goes at Ohio State, because you're also taught to be a man there. You're taught to have character. Like you don't ever hear of any crazy stuff as long as Ryan Day's been the coach, of any crazy things. Now you'll have it eventually. Some, college kids, man. But teaching to be men, teaching you to be responsible, teaching you to earn things in life. And boy, it's dangerous, man. If you're just given stuff in life without having to earn it, is a dangerous thing.
For sure. Absolutely.
But moving on, Larry Johnson. I don't want people to take that as I'm like pounding on Larry Johnson or saying he can't recruit. He's got the job done. Am I worried about our D-line room and our edge room? No, man. They might go in the portal for some edges, but the people that Larry Johnson recruits and develops, they end up being elite. I'm not worried about it. I trust Larry Johnson, what he does. I'm just saying there's no way to say it, but we have lacked on the edge recruiting. Now, whose fault is that? I don't know, because recruiting has changed, man. Money's involved. Things are, it's just completely different. But Ryan Day, being the GOAT that he is, we had trouble recruiting the O-line. What did he do? He went out and got Tyler Bowen and then hired two more GOAT-ish offensive line coaches from previous schools to come in and help him. And they're both from different areas. You got, contacts in different areas now all over the country for offensive line recruits. That's what he just did for the defensive line room. He just went out and he hired where am I at here? He hired Miguel Patrick, used to coach here, man. He left to be the D-line coach a couple years ago at UAB. Used to be the head coach at Cedar Grove High School in Georgia. Now, that was the 2019 Georgia state champ Cedar Grove. He was the coach there when they won the state champs. So to say that Miguel Patrick has a little bit of influence in the state of Georgia with contacts and parents and coaches and all this is an understatement.
Oh, yes.
That was a powerhouse there. So not only is he a rising coach in the field of developing defensive linemen, but on the recruiting side of things, he's being brought in and he will help Larry Johnson out a ton. Younger than Larry, will be able to just give Larry a hand in the recruiting side of things or the Georgia side of things. Your thoughts on this move by Ryan Day?
Man, I think Ryan Day has been navigating this coaching carousel flawlessly. If you think about it, from the end of last year, shout out to Boxing Maniac, from the end of last season to now currently. That to me is what makes Ryan Day the best coach in America, because he can snipe stuff out. I'm telling you, he would be a sniper in special forces if he was in the military. Like he is that locked in, and he's always finding guys that fit the culture, that can they're elite at whatever task or role that he specifically wants. And I know in terms of Tyler Bowen, one of the main things that he wanted him to do is be the run game coordinator, literally game plan of runs for every game.
Oh yeah.
So
He's actually
that's
going to
gonna
be too.
huge. He's elite at that. And then we already know Hartline is elite in the passing game. And you mirror that together and you marry it together, and then you have Coach Day, the final boss per se, to oversee the game plan that week and be like, all right, that's got to go, this got to go, that stays, let's throw this in here, boom, and we out. I think I'm excited, man. I can't even lie. It's hard to hold it in.
Yeah. Well, that's not even it. That's not the last move Ryan Day did, because he went out to get – okay, so if you would have asked me last year, what are some things that need fixed, right? I'm not saying I'm some ultimate fixer. No,
Right.
We were the national champs. Nothing need fixed. Where could we get better at? Because Ryan Day will tell you they're always looking to improve, never perfect, the whole 9 yards. Offensive line recruiting, defensive line recruiting.
Absolutely.
So a little bit, yada, yada. He handled the offensive line recruiting, goes out, helps Larry Johnson with Miguel, and then also hires Tony Washington, the UCLA outside linebackers coach. 2023, he was the UCLA outside linebackers coach. 2022 was the assistant D-line coach was it Oregon? Yep.
Yeah.
In 2021, it was the director of player development. 2020 to 2019, he was a assistant at Nebraska. Was a linebacker at Oregon from 2012 to 2015 and spent 4 years in the NFL, 2 years on the Houston active roster, and then I believe 2 years on like the Titans practice roster or something like that. California native. California native. Coached at UCLA. Coached at Oregon. Where some pretty good defensive linemen come out of? Georgia, the Polynesian culture in California. I mean, this is Ryan Day making another boss move. Not only is this going to help in recruiting, but Tony Washington is definitely a fast rising coach in college football in terms of your stand-up outside edge rushers. I've heard Matt Patricia in the spring, a little nugget for everybody, is bringing that in, man. He's still going to run the 3 safety defense that Jim Knowles is, but there's some players and some things on the team that he found were lacking, man, and that is rushing the quarterback and different things. There's some players on the team, CJ Hicks. Y'all better wake up to him, man, because Matt Patricia really likes him. And you got the coach, Tony Washington, that specializes outside linebackers, stand-up rushers. There we go. Ryan Day making boss moves, bro.
Connecting dots, man. I like how you thinking. You're cooking right there, bro.
Yeah.
You're cooking, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, hold on, let him keep going.
I did. I was just thinking, man, like I think this is Ryan Day's thought process through this whole thing, man, because I think there's other players on the team that can do this. And what is the thing that Ryan Day wanted to change after the Oregon game? What is the thing that the fan base was like, yo, what's going on? That's pressure on the quarterback. Now, what else do you not want to do? You don't want to come in, bring your defensive coordinator in and change the entire defense. So it can still say the same with the 3 safety look, but then you can utilize the personnel that you have. If we're lacking a little depth on the defensive end, which we are, CJ Hicks does not have a lot of experience being a down true defensive end, but boy, he can be a stand-up, fast edge rusher. And now we have a coach on the team that specializes in that, like literally in that. So CJ Hicks is going to be the number 1 draft pick, like Abdul Carter is going to be next year in the draft. I'm calling it right now.
Bro, if that happens, that will be so insane. And the crazy thing is, that could happen.
Yeah, I know. But again, like minus the development, you got Miguel Patrick, Georgia, the defensive lineman, hot spot, man. And we're seeing the old Ohio players don't sign with Ohio State like they used to. Georgia players don't sign with Georgia like they used to. Alabama, we're pulling Alabama players. We're pulling Georgia players. Ohio State really wants to get down there and get their hand in the South, in the Georgia, the Alabamas, the Texas, the California. So what's Ryan Day do? He goes out and gets coaches that have connections in that area. You know what I mean? I think it's just beautiful. It's awesome. They're developmental players. I mean, Tony Washington, everything I've read, he's been loved everywhere he's at. He's talked about being a very, very sharp coach in terms of development. And he was the director of player development at Oregon. So he's pretty good with players and talking to players and getting to know them and getting them to, do what's needed to be done. So you add that in recruiting as well. I'm pretty excited. So overall, man, Ryan Day making boss moves, Ryan Day pointing out the areas in recruiting and on the field that we can get better at, where we can utilize the players on our roster and also utilize the coaches to get the players on our roster. Dude, it's Nick Saban-like, man. I love what Ryan Day's doing, and I think a lot of these things that I talked about have kind of gone under the radar because I used to be that fan of Ohio State. When I saw that an assistant coach was hired, I didn't care. But reminder, the game has changed, man. These coaches can coach on the field now. Everything's changed. So, I mean, it's just different. They're not nobodies anymore. They never were nobodies, but they couldn't have a huge impact on the team. Now they can have Miguel and Tony can have just as big as impact as Larry Johnson can. Yeah. They can be on the field coaching. So I love the move, man. I'm excited about the future of Ohio State. Matt Patricia and this defense, man. I got some stuff on that, man. Scoop over there, but we'll dive into that tomorrow for our show. We're gonna dive into what Matt Patricia's doing inside the Woody right now and some of the players that he's really liking and an update there on some of the players. So tune in tomorrow for that as well. Oh, and we got a interview for a recruit that Ohio State is after big time. So that will be the first 30 minutes of the show tomorrow, and then we'll go into the other. But you got anything on my long rant?
No, man. You killed it.
I got to catch my breath, dude. You got to say something, dude.
I got you. You cooked though in terms of that. But shout out to Coach Mick. You see, our boy put on 20 pounds in 2 months.
Oh yeah, dude. I want
to talk about that too, our boy Devin Sanchez is up to he's over 190 now.
Yeah,
dude. I'm excited. I think OG Walt's going to have a hard time picking out who's starting, who's not, and what the rotation is going to be. He's going to have to figure it out. We definitely need to continue to rotate so that way we keep everybody in the fold, everybody engaged, everybody healthy and fresh for that playoff run. So I'm looking forward to that part. That piece. And in terms of the D line, I want to ask the chat, do you guys think over or under that we get 2 defensive ends in the portal? And I want to see what they think. And the question goes for you, but I want to give them a chance to answer first.
Yeah,
chat. Over under 2 defensive ends in the portal.
I'll hit on the Devin Sanchez thing real fast. I believe he went from 171 to 196.
That's insane.
25 pounds and didn't lose speed or agility. I just got a couple words to say here. You better watch out, Iggy and Jermaine Matthews. You better be on point, homeboys. You better be on point, too, because
I think really who needs to really watch out. I don't even think it's those two. Those two are a lot. I think it's Lorenzo
Styles, and
Aaron Scott, Bryce West, Miles Lockhart. I think all those guys got to watch out because he said he's taking somebody's spot.
Yeah. I never did talk about the Lorenzo Styles thing, but I don't like saying negative things about people. I think there's somebody better on the roster. That's what I'll say. It's really hard to get on the field at Ohio State. Lorenzo Styles is a starter everywhere in the country. He's an absolutely dynamic nickel. He's got speed like crazy.
Yeah,
the whole 9 yards. He's an amazing player. It's just, we'll see though. We'll see what his offseason looks like. He has the ability to be a lockdown nickel type player, but we'll see what he does. But with Aaron Scott, Bryce West, Devin Sanchez, and all those other, dude, our secondary, I don't know how poor poor. I could see a freaking 6-player rotation in our secondary this year, dude.
Heck yeah.
Like,
shout out to Mike Green
yeah.
for the $9.99. Hey, fellas, I'm kind of late on the subject, but Dev's on point on NIL. Ohio State has the culture. The team with the best culture wins championships. Money will never lead to wins, i.e. Texas A&M with the shrug emoji. Shout out to you, Mike Green. That's a very valid point. What do you want to say about that? You agree with him?
Yeah, 100%, man. This teams that think they can go out and just buy players. You might look flashy during the regular season, but when it comes down to the grind of the end of the season and emotions and players not getting along and handling off-field stuff because you're still a college student and you're still a young man learning to be a man, you're missing all those aspects. And if you miss all those aspects, you'll never be able to handle the success of being a successful football player. Therefore, when you get your success, you will always fall. If you don't have that foundation to handle that success, it doesn't matter how physically gifted and how good you are on the field. If you can't handle real life, you still got to live in it. You still have to. So buying players, it's just not going to cut it. You got to have every aspect of this thing, man. And dude, bro, the Oregon Ducks, they've been on us hard on Twitter and stuff, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting sick of them, bro. I clowned on one today, man. He put some face from some guy, and it said it was the face of Ohio State fans trying to wait 10 seconds without talking about other teams or other people that have nothing to do with them. And I retweeted it, and I dated it, and I said, Oregon fan watching the playoff games, wondering how a more talented team can be down 34-0.
Right. And since we're going to stay there, since we're on that subject, in terms of, and it ties right into what I was going to say with what you were saying, Ryan Day subtly took a little shot at Oregon. I forget who was interviewing. It was Tim May, I believe. Tim May was interviewing him about the run that we went on. And he said, yes, of course, we don't want to lose to our rivals. We didn't want to lose to Oregon, but both games let us realize and pointed out that there was stuff to fix it. The problems are always there, but when you're winning, it's hard to fix those problems and address them. He was like, and then you see, we went to the Rose Bowl and we knew we were going to dominate them. And then because they had problems that they never got to address because they kept winning. And then the problem, it was too late when it was crunch time and it was time to matter. They couldn't address it. The season's over. They lost their entire secondary. They lost 4 of the starting 5 starting offensive linemen. They lost their starting quarterback, a starting running back. I mean, they have to spend money. Nobody wants to go live in Oregon, straight up. Nobody lives up there. So you have to buy players to come there. And it's hard when players only come in there for money to develop a culture because they're all about the money, which means they're all about themselves.
Yeah. I want to hit on that too, but first let's get to this. We got under, over, over. You said 2, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to go the under, right? Because, I mean, I think they're going to go after 2, but I think any defensive ends that they're going to go after are going to require too much nil money for them to be able to get 2. I think they want 2, but I know they're looking for a defensive end. And you know what I've noticed, man? I feel like we always get players in the transfer portal from Ole Miss, man. Right? I feel like we always do. So I'm calling it right now. We're stealing defensive end from Ole Miss in the spring portal. So
my bad. That was me trying to fist bump you.
Go look at their roster. Let's start picking out what defensive end we want. I think Ohio State's going to go grab one, or Alabama. One of those 2 teams is where we're going to get our defensive end from.
More than likely Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's probably Ole Miss, man. I mean, who was it? Was it Tywan Malone, then Iggy, then Quinshaw Junkins? Yeah, haven't we got one the past 3 years from Ole Miss, man? So, yeah, defensive end from Ole Miss. I'm calling it. We got Doodah, man, thank you so much for the $10, man. Could you fill me in a little about my boy Pettijohn? Nice hat, Mello. Riley Pettijohn. Well, I'll fill you in a little bit. The dude is, what is he, 225?
Yeah, he might be more than that now.
Yeah, ran track. Go watch his film, dude. He's a absolute ball hawk. You put him on the line, dude, getting after the quarterback the whole 9 yards. He will be pressing linebackers in the room. Like I heard this. Now, I don't know where this is, but I have heard that because of Riley and because of Tarvos, but I heard about Riley first. Because of him, the coaches are looking at different positions that certain players can play. Like, I don't know what that means, but meaning like, dude, we got some players in this freshman class, Devin Sanchez and Riley Pettijohn, I've heard the most about, that I don't know they're going to be kept off the field. But you got Reese and Sonny and Pierce, and, you know, so it's like, how can we move some players around to get these guys? So look out for that, man. I could see Riley Pettijohn, a special package for him, getting up to quarterback. But he is, in my eyes, and this won't be a popular take, but to me, he's in the Devin Sanchez category for me. He just is. It's just a different position, so it gets talked about a little differently. I would say that being that good at a corner that young is way harder to do. If that makes it, corner is one of the hardest positions to play in football. So if you're that good that young, that's why he is like probably the number one in the class. But dude, Riley Pettijohn is not only physically, but he was raised by his dad, who we obviously know pretty good. He played the game at the highest level, very astute minded, and taught his kid how to play the game. So, I mean, same with the Sanchez's. You wonder why these two guys are like not going to be kept off the field. Look at their parents. Like, they were raised the right way.
Dev's trying to be politically correct that saying maybe they won't be able to, they might not be able to be kept up. They're not getting kept off the field.
That's
like, they're just going to flat out tell you they're going to play, and they're going to play meaningful snaps. They're going to play a lot of snaps. Like we said, people got to step their game up because they're pushing.
Yeah. And that's another reason why a lot of these recruits that you see, they don't sign at Ohio State. They want to play their freshman year, and that's not a guarantee, because you go up against you have to beat the best in the country to get on the field. You got to beat Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese out of a spot to be a starting linebacker. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? Mike Green, thank you so much for the $4.99. Y'all hear Tez Johnson, the dude that ran 155 pounds, 4.5 at the NFL Combine, said we didn't want to play them head up. What a clown. Yeah, I mean, he should have thought about what he was saying before, man, because there's just nothing about that statement can be backed up. Nothing about it. You can't even go to the first game and say that you outskilled us.
Right.
You can't. There's nothing about that is even remotely close to. So it was just, him not thinking, and the Oregon culture for you. Anyway, where are we at, dude?
Russ said this. I think Dev can attest to this. And like, when we're saying that no one wants to go there, we're not saying that it's not a beautiful state. We're just saying like it's so far away from where most of the talent is, and it's most of the time it's like a 5-hour plane ride one way. So a lot of kids don't want to do that when they could stay closer to home at programs that are already winning and developing players as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at Oregon before Nil. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't they're not a blue blood program. That's a far place to go. I've been there. It's a long drive. It's everything. The weather isn't always the prettiest. I mean, Ohio, I get the weather thing, but it's right in the city, man. Like, there's a million things to do. Now, I'll tell you this. I understand what Melo's saying, but from Oregon is gorgeous, Russ. It's absolutely gorgeous, man. Now, would I live there? No, because of the weather. Would I buy a vacation home there? Oh, yeah, 100%, dude. I love that. It's all about perspective, man, of what you like. If you like the mountain, beautiful scenery, like when that campus is gorgeous, dude. I'm an outdoors guy, and I mean, there's a beautiful river running through there, the whole 9 yards. I did a live show there, and I said, dude, when recruits come on this campus, they'll fall in love with the scenery. I mean, it's out of a book. I mean, it looks like a painting. It's beautiful, but Bella, it's so far away from everything, and that's why they offer kids so much money. That's the only way they're coming there. But that's why they give them all the bling bling and the new cars and the penthouse rooftop, everything.
Nike
and
deals, shoe deals.
Yeah, the shoe deals. Yeah.
Gotta get you one of them.
Yeah, for sure. So where are we for defensive line recruiting? Now, guys, chat, I want to give you guys information. Do you guys like these recruiting updates? Do you guys like me going down through the names of some of the recruits that I believe Ohio State is in on? It's the subject I'm probably most passionate about. I follow it very closely. I've watched every one of these players' films. I've watched their interviews. I've spoken to a good amount of them. So I just, I don't do a deep dive on each one. I'm sure we will. We got some film on a couple that me and Mello will be breaking down before too long, but I just like giving little quick updates on, hey, here's the player, here's where they're ranked, here's their size, and here's where they're at with Ohio State. So, okay, cool. So here we go. Interior defensive lineman. Ohio State is looking for about 2 to 3 this year. That's what I've been told. 2 to 3 of them. We just signed a big class there. We got 3 of them. We really haven't missed too much as far as interior defensive linemen. Larry, if Larry's anything, his list of top prospects in the nation are way different than On3 and 247s. Yep. I'll tell you that right now. Like Jarquez Carter, Maxwell Roy, and Trajan Odom, they were not low down on Ohio State's list of we want them. They were like the top 5, top 10 in the nation that Ohio State wanted, and they got the job done, and they got him. And everybody be sleeping on Jarquez and Maxwell Roy for sure. Maxwell Roy is the best wrestler in New Jersey,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
He lives in New Jersey, but he goes to school in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, dude. He's like a big time wrestler. I don't know if you've seen this dude, but bro, you'll see. You'll see. But yeah, On3 is a joke. Let's get that up there. Joke and a half. They are On3. It's a clown show. But
anyway. Jarquez Carter, if you watch his film, I can't believe, like, it doesn't make any sense how low he was ranked. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah. It's insane.
I'm baffled, honestly. Like, that dude is an animal.
It's hilarious. As far as defensive ends, I believe Ohio State would sign up to 4.
Yeah,
in this class. I believe they would. We gotta rebuild that room. So depending on what they do in the portal, they're gonna go for 3 or 4, I believe. So we'll start off with D lineman. The number 2 D lineman out of North Carolina, Aiden Harris, the number 41 overall prospect, 6'2.5", 250. Kind of a tweener. You know what I'm saying? We're not really, some people add, some people D-line, not really sure. He's got a brother, Andrew Harris, who's 6'1", 210. He's the number 242 player overall, number 29 edge. But they've both attended games, and the coaches have been to their school a couple times visiting them. Expect them to visit Ohio State. People are projecting them to be in the Ohio State class. I don't have a projection. Pretty much.
I do.
You do? What's your projection?
I think they're in the class. You also have to realize, like, their father, I believe it was their father. He played at UGA. So UGA was kind of on them. One of the twins is actually significantly better than the other one, but they're both very good. And they have a very tight relationship with Ohio State and Notre Dame. But mainly Ohio State, I think they're in the class.
Yeah, so Ohio State's been after them for a long while now. And, I believe at one point in time they were being talked about as thinking they're about to commit to Ohio State. But on to the next, one of my favorites, man, one that I do project being in the class, Deuce Gerald's, number 64 overall player. He's 6'1", 275. The number, dude, he came to the Indiana game, hasn't scheduled his official visit, but he will. He's the number 4 defensive lineman overall. I'll let Mello talk about him. He knows more about Deuce.
He's a flat-out freak show. He could play running back, I watched him just truck people. I watched him blow up UGA offensive lineman. That's a 25 class. He's at UGA now. I mean, the very first play. We'll pull it up here for you guys shortly. Not today, but here within the next couple of weeks, where he just literally ran him over like he was a little kid. Dude is amazing. I watched him line him up at tight end, and he ran out and ran a route and caught the ball. He's a massive kid. He's not a UGA type of D lineman, but once we offered in UGA, seeing what we're doing with the Georgia kids that they don't offer because they're not tall enough for them, for their liking, they want to offer. But I'm hoping Deuce actually does stay and commit to the Ohio State Buckeyes. I know Collins Hills, all the parents there love Ohio State. They're all talking about Jordan Hancock. Obviously, Jordan Hancock went to North Gwinnett. So they were talking to me about that. They're like, Ohio State is a big brand. We love Ohio State. And I'm talking about everywhere in the stands. So I can't wait. Like, it's exciting. If you haven't checked out Deuce Gerald's film, go check it out, man. You'll be thoroughly entertained.
There's definitely more D linemen that are going to be visiting and that Ohio State has had contact with. I have them all written down, but I only picked out the ones that I have studied and I know about right now. We'll get to the other ones too, but I can't go over all of them. That'd be a whole separate show. Next one out of Georgia, Carter Lucky. He's scheduled an official visit June 6th through the 8th, 6'5", 270, Campton, Ohio State, 211 nationally, number 15 D lineman out of Georgia. Really like this kid, man. Not super highly ranked, but I like him, man. And we'll see what happens. Scheduled an official visit. So we'll see. Pull him out of Georgia, man. It helps. So Miguel Patrick coming in there for Deuce and Carter as well. You got any info on Carter?
I do not actually. What high school is he at? Does it say?
It did. I just didn't write it down. I can't remember, man. But
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Next one out of North Carolina, Noah Clark, 6'4", 320. 109 overall player. Expect to visit, man. This dude's a dog. If you look at, I think like NC State, North Carolina are the other ones that are like in on him. Then you got New Jersey, Damari Simeon, 6'2", 275. He is visiting April 5th, number 65 nationally, number 8 defensive lineman. A baller, man, out of New Jersey. You know how we are with New Jersey players. Got a pretty good,
Jersey loves Ohio State, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They do. It's either Ohio. If you're in Jersey, it's Ohio State, Notre Dame, Penn State, or the team up north, honestly.
Yeah. A couple edge prospects that have recently picked up some more heat with Ohio State. I know we got some. I know the Harris guy and then the number 1 overall player committed to Maryland. Like, we've had some heat with those guys, but out of Georgia, Cam Brooks, he camped in June, the number 142nd overall player, number 13 edge, is taking an official visit June 20 through the 22nd. So again, Georgia, man. So you see Ryan Day making boss moves, going out and getting a past high school state champ coach in 2019 from Georgia. Look at this offer list, man. Georgia, the dude's a dog, man. He would be an awesome pickup. Washington, Derek Coleman Brewer, 6'4", 230, 139 overall, 12 edge, taking an official visit June 13th through the 15th. He camped and he came to a game day. Loves Ohio State, man. He loves Ohio State. We'll see what happens. And a new one to keep your eye on. I'm interested to see if anybody's heard his name yet. I've been keeping my eye on him. He's rising up the ranks pretty fast. Starting to get a lot of offers out of North Carolina. Keyshawn Elizer, 6'6", 193 pounds, long, lanky. I mean, just shooting up the charts, man. Scheduled an official visit the 13th to the 15th. He's blowing up. He's not even ranked yet. One of those type players. So,
and I like that size, even though people will say he's really light, but think about how much weight he can pack on.
Yeah.
How quick he probably is. And you pack on some good weight and he keeps that quickness. That could be scary.
Dude, what did Abdul Carter weigh in at the combine? Chat. I
Hold
know
on,
you
I'm gonna
guys
check
know.
real quick. Chat,
Yeah,
if you know, go ahead and hop in and tell us. But I'm gonna check.
because I got to get the dude. He's projected as I think he's going to go number 1 overall, dude. And I feel like our linebackers weighed more than he did. Was he not
251?
251. Okay, so our linebackers didn't weigh more, but he's still not really. He didn't look that big on the field. I thought he looked way smaller than that. But anyway,
He's lean,
really
man.
good.
You know
but,
how it is, that lean
yeah,
muscle.
yeah, you get some of these. What kind of DN do you want? We're used to the Jack Sawyer JT 260, 270 run stoppers. Still get to the QB, but not as flashy as we like to see on the field. But I wouldn't mind get some of those. We got one. Kenyatta Jackson is one of those players, and y'all going to find out that he is. But
yep,
I like that. Zion Grady got the body style. They're long, lanky rushers. So I love it, man.
I got a question for you now that you brought that up. See what happens? Do you think, because I always wondered this, I mean, I got an idea, but we will never really know. Do you think that the defensive scheme stifled Jack and JT from getting more sacks? Do you think they could have got more sacks if they were free to play without containing? Or do you just think that they're kind of stiff and it wouldn't have mattered?
Now, did you watch Jack Sawyer do the drills at the combine?
Oh yeah, it was elite.
Yeah, he didn't look stiff whatsoever. I think it was 100% scheme, man. Matter of fact, we know it was. There's proof that it was before Oregon game and after Oregon game.
Right.
They clearly, what I think was happening is they were complicating a lot of things with their play calls. Angie, you want to say hi, Angie? She hung up. Never mind. She bolted when I said you want to say hi. What was I saying, dude?
About the before the Oregon and after the Oregon game.
So we've heard from players that Jim Knowles liked to implement a lot of calls, a lot of different plays, man. And I've never played football, but I think I've been around enough players now to know that that'll put stress on you. So if you're a defensive end and you get a newer call, and you're sitting in there thinking, okay, what's my responsibility here on this play? You're not going to be real focused on getting after the quarterback. You're going to be, all right, I'm contained right now. You know what I mean? But short and sweet, yes, man, they were held back in a certain way. They had to contain on certain plays. And I didn't like the Rushman package that was installed with the way they handled that sometimes. But I think we saw, in the playoffs, they got turned loose a little bit, and look what happened, man. They were dominant. So I think Jack Sawyer and both JT will be better pass rushers in the NFL than they were in college because it depends what scheme they go to, what team, the whole 9 yards. But yes, I think they have that ability.
All right, cool. That's all I just wanted to put that out there and see your thoughts on it. Well, I already knew your thoughts on it. I wanted everybody else to hear your thoughts on it again.
Mello, we picked those questions out. I found them already.
Yep. Guess what, people? Guess what time it is? So
here it is.
I need somebody to beat Matt this time, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to beat Matt.
He's about to be shut down. We might just bring him to the Washington game with us just because he's a really good friend. We'll just bring him for free and we'll just exclude him from the game. But I'm gonna say something real fast before. Here on the Buckeye Boys, we love all fan bases in the chat. We love all fans in the chat. Got some pretty simple rules. No name calling, no personal comments, bad comments towards other people. If that happens, you will not be welcome here. That goes for the regulars on this channel. That goes for new people on this channel. We try to hold everybody to the same standard. So just because you're a Scum fan doesn't mean you're going to get kicked out. But if you come here, Boxing Maniac is you can't be a bigger Scum fan, and he came in here just fine. Is there any problems, right? But you're coming to a Buckeye channel, so if you're going to come in here and stir up and cause a bunch of trouble, you're not going to be here. But if you want to come in here and talk football and say, hey, I think Scum is better than Ohio State, this is why, cool. We'll have that conversation. Hey, I really think Oregon had way better players than Ohio State did, and this is why. Cool. We'll have that conversation. But if you're going to come in here and be a troll, don't be surprised when you get timed out. You know what I'm saying? You don't see me or Mello. I don't know about Mello. You don't see me. Now, I know Mello don't do it either. Going in and throwing personal shade towards other people in chats and whole 9 yards. We don't do it. So please don't do it in our chat. But you're a grown man and woman. You can do whatever you want, but we'll time you out. Anyway, okay, we ready? Chat.
Yes.
Mello, you got the timer ready?
Oh, yeah. Forgot. Hold up.
Nah, Steely, don't sit this thing out, bro. If you sit it out, then there's no point of the everybody's got to do it, man. If you keep, bro, listen. If we root for a football team that has the best players, and to get on the field, you have to be the best, then as a fan base, that's how we need to be. So if Steely's the starter right now, if he's the Jeremiah Smith, and you want to get on the field, man, you got to start studying for these questions. You got to, take an hour out of your day each week, study Ohio State history, and get this thing down, man.
Man, you just made his head so big right now. He's like, man, he just called me Jeremiah Smith. Watch, he's going to text me after the show.
Oh, Lordy. Will Star. Hold on, Will Star. 100%, brother. Dude, shoot us an email, man. We'd love for you to come on. We do. So Sunday is the show. We put the link in the chat on Sunday. Well, most Sundays. That's our scheduled time, unless something news comes out. But Sunday's that show. But other than that, shoot us an email, Will Star. We'll schedule you to come on. This is a fan channel. We want fans on. Just not many people ask us all the time. But all right, here we go. I'll give you guys a little hint this time. Receivers. Here we go. Which one do I ask first? Okay, this one. Who is one of the 4 players tied for the school record? Dude, I can't ask this one because they might say one of the 4. I got to switch. I got to go to the other one.
That was the one you said you weren't going to ask.
Dang, man. Well, somebody will get this one. Who holds the Ohio State record for 5 straight games of at least 100 receiving yards? I bet you somebody gets it the first guess.
Yep. That was supposed to be the backup question.
I know.
It's all good.
Is our chat frozen right now?
Nope.
Dang, nobody got it yet. There it is. Dang it, bro. Again? Are we serious? Steely won, dude. Freaking Steely, man. Come on, Steely. You said you were sitting this one out, dude. Nah. Chat. Steely got it right, man.
Steely out here grabbing one-handers on y'all.
Steely, hey, but don't fret. Steely's up 3-0, but don't fret. There's going to be bonus questions. I'll ask the bonus question when I don't see Steely in the chat, okay? If I ever don't see Steely in our chat, dude, I'm going to make him bonus questions. But
because he might get those too.
Yeah. So Steely's Steely got it, man. I don't know. 3-0 Steely. Well, we got a lot to go, man. We got 3-0's not going to. I bet you probably have to have get like 25, 30 questions right to win this. But I need to stop showing the book because people are going to get it. You know what I mean?
Look what you did. You got him calling himself Optimus Steely.
Oh, shoot. I love it, man. But all right, chat. We appreciate the heck out of you guys joining us, man. Do me a favor, man. After this, if you could, if you don't do this, this is really like the main thing that helps us, man. If you have a Twitter or a Facebook or an Instagram, just hit share, and normally it'll pop up. You can hit Facebook or Twitter, and it'll do it for you, or you copy the link and put it somewhere. Get your friends and family to do it for us, man. That'd be a huge help. Like if you already haven't. And like Will Star's question earlier, remind you, we're a fan channel. We want you guys on here. We want you participating. I know Sunday's the only show we put the link in the chat, but that doesn't stop you from emailing us ahead of time and saying, hey, man, I want to come on and talk about this, and we'll schedule you. So it's the Buckeye Boys with 3 Z's at gmail.com. So email us, man. We'll get you on here for sure. But Tomorrow, got a recruit coming on that Ohio State is after. And then we're going to dive into Matt Patricia and what the defense is going to look like and a little bit about what's going on inside the Woody. But Mello, any final thoughts?
Man, don't miss tomorrow's show. You're gonna love it. Seriously, it's everybody's favorite position group anyway. So I will be here. Thank you for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, all the good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate the heck out of you guys. Love you guys.
This is mainly for you. I didn't forget you're supposed to give your testimony.
Oh, yeah.
We got to plan that one out. That has to happen for real.
Yeah.
Before this month is over, it has to happen.
Yeah. Don't forget, man. Yeah, it's a dark, rough, tough world out there. Got a lot of economic changes happening, society, the stock market, a little bit of a crash today. I got hit with that one, but dude, God's in control of this thing, man. He says find joy in everything, and there is joy in everything. If you find yourself getting upset, depressed, anxious, man, take your time out in the morning, send him a prayer, get a piece of paper out and write 10 things that you're grateful for in life. And family's going to be number one. You start thinking about those things, your mind's going to change, man. Suddenly our problems become way smaller when we realize how blessed we all really are, because we're breathing. We're blessed by the best, man. So appreciate you guys. On that note, go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.